Hello and welcome to the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. We are also live on DSTV channel 363. My name is Frema Adunyame.
And I am Bobbie Osei. Coming up.
Former President John Mahama given a week to apologize and retract Achim Sakawa Boy's comment or risk being banned from campaigning on Achim lands.
John Mahama ended the party. 72 hours.
Ghanaian security agencies intensify investigations to rescue 2 South Korean nationals kidnapped in Ghanaian waters.
But they ordered all the crew to come to the deck and ask them to lie down. And then they ransacked the vessel and collected their electrical equipment, their phones, laptops, their money.
Also coming up, stranded passengers and drivers along the White Volta want government to urgently come to their aid following the spillage of the Bobbie Dam. Now, some chiefs and people of Achim Ebuakwa, Achim Kotoku and Achim Bosome in the eastern region are asking the former president John Mahama and the NDC to within a week apologize and retract the Achim Sakawa Boys comment or risk being banned from campaigning on Achim lands.
According to the chiefs and people who gathered to demonstrate at Asamankesi on Wednesday, they consider the said tag ethnocentric and have urged all well-meaning Ghanaians to condemn it.
Citi News' Eastern Regional Correspondent Neil Amate Kanaku joined the demonstrators and has come through with this report.
Hundreds of Achim from Ebuakwa, Kotoku and Bosome this morning gathered at Asamankesi Lorry Park to demonstrate against former president and flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, over the Facebook Achim Sakawa Boys post. According to them, continuous ethnocentric comments from the former president and the NDC targeted at Achims and Ashantis has the tendency to disturb the peace of the land if not criticized by all well-meaning Ghanaians. The demonstration, which brought together some chiefs and parliamentary candidates of the NPP in the enclave, was organized by a group called Concerned Citizens of Ochiman. The demonstrators, who were all clad in red and black attire, wielded placards with some interesting inscriptions such as "Progressive dialogue, not insult," Mahama, address issues, not skirts, JM, Ghana deserves better from you, Achims can do worse, among others. Archibald Nchakwa, the president of Achiman Youth Association and one of the conveners of the demonstration, who condemned the alleged comments by former President John Mahama, called on him to retract and apologize within 72 hours.
What we are saying is that this thing cannot continue. Enough is enough. Retract that awful statement and apologize to the Nanano and the good people of Achim so that we can move forward as one nation. This is something that we know that goes on in the political space. So individuate your arguments. The people involved have names. Mention their names and say it. But to take a name registered to a kingdom and attach it to such an awful attitude like Sakawa, that is what we are saying we cannot accept. So today's protest is apolitical. Today's protest is about Ghanaians. And what we are saying is that in doing your politics, situate the argument correctly and leave the traditional kingdoms and let them be. And that is all we are trying to say. And let me put it on record that there is no political agenda in this. We are saying that in doing your politics, situate the argument properly, individuate your argument. Those responsible mention their names and say it, and let the trials be.
But Enum Asokwa Hene Barima Kwasi Mensa Bediako III wants the former president and the NDC to apologize in a week or be banned from campaigning on Achim land. Meanwhile, the Asamankesi District Police Command, which deployed 90 personnel to assist the demonstrators, confiscated some musketries belonging to some chiefs and prevented them from firing them. Chief Superintendent Joseph Aka, who spoke to Citi News about the development, said it will be returned to the chiefs after the demonstration.
We know that anything that is unlikely, like unlikely event to happen, then that's why we are here. We will try our best to prevent it. But we hope that they will also comply with the rules of going through such kind of demonstration. The demonstration is supposed to be peaceful demonstration. Out of the blue, we saw that they were bringing out guns, and which we did not understand. So we took possession of them. After the demonstration, we handed it over to them. We simply didn't want any gunfiring around the place. That's all. Simply didn't want any gunfiring around the place. That's all. But it will be returned to them.
But the police could not prevent the entourage of Amantio Miensahene Osei Ma Okujiaman Apija Fori V, the warlord of Achimba, from firing their musketry when he joined to lead the demonstration. Amantio Miensahene Osei Ma Okujiaman Apija Fori V, addressing the press after pouring libation, called on the former president to render an unqualified apology to Achims and Ghanaians within 72 hours or face the wrath of Nananom.
Ghana betumpo. Afedi e kwa ni abedua ni. Yesem yetiatia. Ni aba media. Mama yanso yaswatini. Yese yamma John Mahama and the party. 72 hours. So wa me pacha wa. Mijina ma Kotoku Bosome Abua kwa anamza achimfo. Yebetu yehofo. Na yakazi yebetu yehofo a. Aka sembebre. Iti yasramu ara. Yasramu amopasa wi asman atini. Yeni tintini ne mutata. Yanya mofra amapa e chawo. Sa wagu achimfo animu ase. Yanya sakafo. Watu ya hope. Mujeni ye mise watu ya hope. Na ye ni baby ejira.
Apia Dankwa, one of the conveners who indicated that the group has overachieved its target for the demonstration, said the former president's refusal to retract and apologize within the stipulated time will affect the fortunes of the NDC in this year's elections.
We encourage national building, national unity. We encourage peace. We encourage national building based on policies and ideas, not with ethnocentric comments and tribal issues. That is not what we encourage in our nation. If you feel that you want to speak to issues in our country, do that with facts and figures, not with issues of ethnocentrism and then tribalism. That is not what we encourage. You know, we are gearing towards elections, and as such, we should conduct ourselves in a way that it would actually maintain the peace and harmony we are enjoying in this country in these trying times. You know, we are fighting COVID. We cannot be fighting NDC at this time too.
The Inspector General of Police, James Bueno, has warned that the Ghana Police Service will deal ruthlessly with perpetrators of crime during and after the 2020 general elections. Now, according to him, the police service, in its readiness to ensure a violence-free election, has identified all hotspots and have mapped out strategies to prevent and address any election-related disturbances. Mr. Bueno spoke to Citi News in Navrongo in the Upper East region after the commissioning of the Navrongo Divisional Police Headquarters.
In our case, we are fortunate that we had this registration exercise. So that has helped us to identify all those hotspots in the country and map our strategies to deal with them. It was like something like a dress rehearsal for us. So it has helped us to identify all those places. So whatever resources we have, we will ensure that we concentrate them at the areas that we identify them as hotspots and ensure that generally our strategy is able to deal with whatever we have coming up against us. Yes, the country has regulations, we have laws, and my appeal is to everybody to be law-abiding before, during, and after the elections. If they do everybody goes to the polls to vote and leave there peacefully, we will like that. On the other hand, if any persons or group of persons decide that they want to derail the process by engaging in violence, I can assure them the Ghana Police Service is prepared to deal with them, irrespective of who that person is.
Now, on Constituency Radar today, we take you to the Solar Kalba constituency of the Savannah region. Now, the parliamentary contest there is between incumbent Andrew Dari Chiwite of the NDC and the NPP's Banasco Seidu Nuhu. Our correspondent in the Savannah region, Richard Fogo, has this report.
The Solar Kalba constituency is one of 7 constituencies in the Savannah region. It borders the West constituency of the Upper West region to the north, Damango constituency to the east, Bole Bamboy constituency to the south, and Côte d'Ivoire to the west. It has a population of 110,798, with males constituting 48% and females 51%. The constituency is predominantly rural. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, it has a rural population of 93%. Like every constituency in the rural north, infrastructure such as roads, electricity, water, schools, and health facilities remain a challenge. Major towns to watch in these elections are Sola, the capital, Tona, Suma, Kalba, Jindabur, and Kulmasa. It is one of the safe seats of the opposition National Democratic Congress. The party has dominated the constituency since 1992. In 2016, the NDC's Andrew Dari Chiwite pooled 17,209 votes, whilst former President John Mahama did even better to continue the party's dominance in the constituency. The NDC in the constituency say they intend to continue their dominance in the constituency, while the MPP says they will cause an upset in this year's elections. Here are some communicators of the two parties.
Looking at Solar Fufuso Road, which NDC were able to tire it. Looking at the ongoing district hospital, one of the best hospitals. If you enter inside, you might think you are in Europe. Yeah, that is the achievement of John Dramani Mahama. Looking at the market, now you people told us that you according to your tracker, whatness, it's only what do you call it? Polytank that you brought to the market. Even we can't even find it. Imagine the common polytank, and you will be able to put it out to tell people that it's your achievement. Are we serious as a country? People have been doing this. Even single people, what do you call it? Normal people are doing more than this. Having assemblyman, they donate more than this. So why should we take this one as an achievement?
Even though NPP has never won the seat here since 1992 up to date, but this year is a year of change, because if you come here and you see the change, the wind that is blowing, you really know that yes, this year is a year of a change, because with the caliber of the parliamentary candidate that we have, being young and vibrant as it is, Honorable Banasco, everybody is rising. It's the spirit of what the constitution is rising to actually go this in support of Banasco to make sure that this year we really have a zero change.
But what do residents of Sola, the constituency capital, make of the two parties? Some residents spoke to Citi News.
Management of the district assembly has not been working since NPP took over power, and I don't know why. I don't know whether it's the DC who is not performing or whatever it is that is happening at the district assembly. For me, the district assembly needs to perform, and then the decentralization is not working, because projects at assembly happens to come from all the way from Accra, and then some contractor will just come here and then he says he's doing a project here when assembly has no hands in it or have no knowledge of it. And those things must be checked, because the decentralized must work. For me, I have tested the two parties over and over again, and it's like the two parties are always going back and front. They are doing almost similar thing. This one comes and then they depends on party faithfuls, and then they look only solely on the side of party faithful, and the other one comes the same thing. So for me, I I've lost interest in the total interest in the two parties for now. So for my decision to vote for this year, I don't know yet.
If you look at the policies and programs of this new patriotic party, I would say yes, let's go for the MPP because of the number of projects that have given us in STK. For example, on the rural electrification, if you go to there's a community around Calabar called Koriju, it's been connected. If you go to Benayiri, there's a connection going on there. If you go to Konkorompe, they are doing connections there, and they are going to be connected to the national electricity grid. And another thing we can talk about is this free HOS policy that they've brought. Actually, if you look at we in the north here, and then particularly this our district is a deprived one, and a lot of people have benefited with this free HSS policy. Our people they are in the secondary schools and they've written and they're back home, which some of them would have been dropouts by now.
I can boast of the road linking Solar to Fusu. I can also boast of a short card by the previous government, which our clinic was developed to a polyclinic and now a district hospital by the previous government. I can also boast of a secondary also given by the district through the previous government, which now even running almost, I cannot even, a year it was established, but I can see that actually they have helped the district as far as development is concerned. So also go back to this electrification. I can just count a lot of villages within the district that are electrified through the previous government. They will never lay hands on this current government as far as development is concerned. Yeah. If we are talking of the governmental aspect, I will give it back to the former government. It's actually what is expected.
For the incumbent NDC MP and candidate Adunyame Chiwite, his dedicated service in bringing projects as an opposition party in the last 4 years is enough to consolidate the NDC's dominance of the constituency.
I'm doing a school project at Kawia area. I'm doing another school project at Digze. I'm doing another school project at Tayiri. I am a member of Parliament in opposition, but these are the things. But what is happening is that I go and sit with the communities and let them know that the fund that I receive is small. I cannot do a full project. So I get the community to support me with their labor, and then we raise up the building. That's what I'm doing. I supported Nyangukura with that dam is fantastic. Papa, bigger than the one big one dam that they claim they have done. Go to Jilenko Road and see the one big one dam that they did there. It's just some funny thing. You won't believe it. Go to Kawia, the one big one dam that they did there. It's a mess. The communities go there, they don't get the water.
For Banas Citi Newsroom, his work is well cut out. He must do what no MPP candidate has done before: cause an upset. He tells me he is sure of victory for himself and the MPP, touting government's flagship programs and his clear message as his selling points.
Over the years, it has been politics of deceit in this area. And I'm glad to say that our people are much more enlightened now. We have a lot of young people who have seen all in other places. So things that were said some years ago wouldn't sustain in this year's elections. And I am confident that the many young people who are home without any opportunities, like you said, we have had NDC MPs for the past 28 years. And we ask ourselves, what are the opportunities that are being created, especially for our young people? And I think that these are the issues that are being played in this year's elections that gives us a lot of assurance and confidence.
For Citi News, I am Richard Fogo, reporting from Solar, Savannah region.
The running mate of the National Democratic Congress, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, is calling on civil society organizations to be vocal in condemning acts of misconduct in the country. According to her, CSOs have been silent on several political violence that characterized the just-ended voter registration exercise conducted by the Electoral Commission. Speaking at the Institute for Democratic Governance, IDEC, during a working visit, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman urged CSOs to speak up against misdemeanors in ensuring peace prevails in the upcoming polls.
The running mate for the NDC, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, and some notable members of the NDC paid a working visit to civil society organizations to familiarize herself with their activities. She charged various CSOs in Ghana to be active in speaking up against acts by political figures that have the potential of compromising the peace of the country ahead of the upcoming elections. She spoke at the Institute for Democratic Governance, IDEC.
How did we get here that somebody should die because they are going to register? How did we get here that registration should be manned by police and military and people who you don't even know how they ended up in all these institutions? So how do you grow the institutions when these things are happening? And what are the CSOs doing? What are they saying? Oh, and not only you, religious, so many bodies that sometimes are very vocal, and I think they should be, because that is their job. But you see, when they choose to be silent at some time and not, there will not be peace. Because then people will choose the voices to listen to. We shouldn't get to that level. That will create an environment of non-peace. It will not help any of us.
Upon a visit to the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPEC, its Executive Secretary Duncan Amwa appealed to the NDC to consider policies aimed at reforming the energy sector to address issues of fuel adulteration and smuggling, which, according to them, serve as a major challenge to their operations.
Issues of adulteration is also of importance to us. And then again, we've had to complain severally where the state leaves a chunk of our revenues to go into private pockets. I'm talking of fuel smuggling. A larger chunk of the revenue that the state could have recouped for its developmental projects ends up in private pockets. Then we are told to pay taxes. And so we often ask, if you need 100 million and 200 million is going into private pockets, if you did target the 200 million, you wouldn't need to even tax the trotro driver any further. There's been efforts, but as we speak, it's still ongoing.
He advised the NDC to also consider redesigning road markings in the country in favor of motor riders as part of its plans to legalize the Okada business.
We buy into the Okada bit. In fact, they also come to us. It is refreshing to know that they agree if you legislate or legalize for them, they will be relatively safer on our roads. So myself and the technical board and a few members were thinking. And one of the things that we had wanted to suggest, if you will take it into consideration, is to at least redesign the road so that the middle line, the median, the white marking, if the engineers did the calculations left and right, then you could leave them even an inch in between. The cars could be here, the bikes could have, two white markings, and they can operate or walk in safely without they getting into a car or a car getting into them.
In an interaction with the Media Foundation for West Africa, the NDC assured to reactivate the activities of all media houses.
Government, come January 2021, is to grant amnesty to all, unconditional amnesty to all radio stations that have been closed down.
The former Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Nanoye Bampoe-Addo, indicated that the NDC manifesto aims at introducing a media development fund to cushion journalists and media houses against the severe impact of COVID-19.
And we recognize that with COVID, there are several challenges for journalists. And so we are creating a media development fund to support journalists and media organizations as a post-COVID-19 relief package.
The team also interacted with workers of the Star Ghana Foundation and the Amnesty International.
Now, following the spillage of the Bobbie Dam, coupled with torrential rains in the Upper East region that have submerged the White Water Bridge in Kobori in the Boku West district, stranded passengers and drivers are appealing to government to urgently come to their aid. Now, the situation has grounded all passenger vehicles traveling on the Bogatanga-Boku Road from either side.
The spillage of the Bobbie Dam, coupled with torrential rains on Monday, September 7, 2020, submerged the White Volta Bridge at Kobori, grounding several vehicles and leaving travelers on the Boga-Boku Road stranded. The flood waters have washed away portions of the Kobori stretch of the Boga-Boku Road, making it unmotorable. Even though the floodwaters have receded marginally, police have barricaded the area to prevent recalcitrant travelers and drivers from plying the Kobori stretch of the Boga-Boku Road. Some stranded passengers at Kobori are calling on government to intervene by either working on the road or evacuate them to their various destinations.
Even you can pass with a motor or yes, a bicycle, you can use and pass if the road is not fixed. So we pray that after the water stop, they will come to our rescue. If not, I think people can pass and then go and do their business. When you get to the fuel station there, cars, cargo trucks, people are lying down there, they can pass.
Every time the water, if you open the water come here, they come block the road. You know the first time we did. So with the back, if you this one pass, make it come fill and make it come up. So next time if you leave the water, and they will come block the road again.
Yeah, but Sina has size, Senre Numre. Yeah, Kakran, your Chamaco, so no year for Quanina. Yatsina has size, probably, and yes, see, I say, a Jalia Quayana, I have my to see, I say, Obian Hawajali. Yet it has size, it's Senre Numre. Yabeka Hyacinth, so no Yafa, a kind of say a pine. You name the SCA, the slab by the summer may have found my.
Most of them was young man. My head mark by contact almost 8 years. Quite a moment to me, any better how good for this. I may pay oh, you pay my and mountain, market house. Vitabania said now, one for my new case. No one at Santa Ricky now, we are saying,
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Now, still to come, Ghanaian security agencies intensify investigations to rescue 2 South Korean nationals kidnapped in Ghanaian waters.
We have the latest on that story and many others coming up right after the break. Do stay.
Rigworld Solutions, forging the frameworks of Ghanaian industry. Engineering solutions from the heart of Takrade, Kejebil. At Rigworld Solutions, we manufacture industrial bolts and nuts, fasteners, hoses and fittings for the extractive and petrochemical industries. World-class products with local expertise. Locate our factory in Kejebil of the Takrade Takwa Road. Call 0302-949917 or 0540-107504. Email enquiries@rigworldsolutions.com. Rigworld Solutions, crafted in Ghana, engineered for the world.
Close-up deep action.
with antibacterial mouthwash formula and deep cleaning gel. Close-up deep action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breath.
Hello again. Security agencies in Ghana and their counterparts in Togo, Benin and Nigeria have intensified investigations to rescue 2 South Korean nationals who were kidnapped in Ghanaian waters.
Now the victims, captain and first engineer of fishing vessel AP703, were kidnapped in the high seas of Ghana on August 28, 2020. However, 49 other Ghanaian crew members were left after their properties were seized by the pirates.
Now, according to the Marine Police, 7 out of the 9 pirates were heavily armed during the operation. In June 2020, a similar incident occurred where 5 Koreans and a Ghanaian were abducted during an attack on a fishing vessel, Panofi Frontier.
But speaking to Citi News, the crime officer of Marine Police, Tema Superintendent Felix Asari, said there is collaborative efforts from security agencies to ensure the safety of businesses at sea.
So when they caught up with them, they mounted, they threw a rope across, held the vessel to DS, and then they boarded the vessel. There were 9 people on board the speedboat, and 7 were armed with AK-47 rifles. In fact, they ordered all the crew to come to the deck and asked them to lie down. And then they ransacked the vessel and collected their electrical equipment, their phones, laptops, their money. But according to the crew, they were not beaten. They then moved the vessel from the Ghana, that the Keita side of this thing, to the Togo side and drove our 160 nautical miles down, which is in the high seas. So that's where they kidnapped 2 of the Koreans, the captain and the first engineer, into their vessel and drove towards the southeast, which means they drove towards Nigeria. But there is a very close collaboration between the Navy and their counterparts in Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. I believe the strong collaboration is helping to coordinate activities about how to intercept or control these piracy activities.
Meanwhile, the Accra Regional Police Command on Wednesday arrested 119 suspected criminals during a swoop at Race Junction at Medina in Accra. Now, this comes after some thugs on Monday violently disrupted a court bailiff and some police officials who were executing a legal order. Public Relations Officer of the Accra Regional Police Command, DSP Efia Tenge, who was justifying the move, said the command will thoroughly screen and investigate the suspected criminals and process the identified culprits for court.
Some operational officers were embarking on a lawful duty around the Race Junction, and this was in execution of a court order, and apparently they were met with fierce resistance from people who were then occupying that parcel of area. And so it is always professional that police officers who were confronted with that incident, taking into account the number of people who are there, to retreat professionally and appropriate time respond with the needed number of manpower, logistics and skills. And so this afternoon an operation was conducted within the said area, and we've been able to arrest 109 persons. Among these numbers are also women, who are 13 women. So we intend to screen all of them. Definitely some of them will be identified for obstructing the police officers in their lawful duty. And for the past week, the regional command has even embarked, or there's an ongoing SOOPs or exercise going to rid the metropolis of criminal activities.
Now in some other news, the Kaswa chapter of the Ghana Union of Traders Association wants government to intervene in trade issues in the area.
Now, according to the group, majority of foreigners, especially Nigerian traders, who were sacked from the Central Business District of Accra, the Kwame Nkrumah Circle and elsewhere, over infractions on Ghanaian laws are gradually moving to Kaswa, a development they say is creating inconvenience for their businesses.
The group says it is giving government a week ultimatum to address the issue. Central Regional Correspondent Calvis Tete has more from Kaswa.
For members of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, their business is gradually being taken away by foreigners, especially Nigerian traders in Kaswa. They say the foreign traders, instead of engaging in wholesale trade, are rather selling their wares on small scale as their Ghanaian counterparts, gradually kicking the Ghanaians out of business by way of huge investments they bring on board. At a press conference in Kaswa, General Secretary of GUTA, Alpha Shaban, wants government to enforce the Ghanaian business laws, adding that the Ghanaian law supersedes all other laws.
We started this agitation calling on the government to enforce our business law, especially those relating to trading in Ghana, because we are on the ground and we realize the damages that are being caused by some of these foreigners. We are sovereign citizens of this country. Ghana is a sovereign country. The people are sovereign. This is so that if the law is there and people do not enforce it, we have the right to enforce it. The ECOWAS protocol is there. It is excellent. It is working here in the country, except that some of the foreigners within the ECOWAS state are either failing or refusing to obey our laws.
For some members of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, it is their wish that the task force, whose mandate is to ensure that foreign traders adhere to the Ghanaian laws, are deployed to Kaswa to ensure compliance.
You know, laws are made in favor of citizens, and the laws are not made in favor of foreigners. So all we are pleading with our government is to make sure that the law be as it is in favor of the Ghanaian citizen. Okay, and then we are also asking the foreigners or the Nigerians also to tell their people to respect our laws. You see, the trouble that is going on between the Ghanaians and the Nigerians is that they are not respecting our laws. So if only they respect our laws, I think there will be peace between themselves and then ourselves.
If we are not careful, we'll be in our own home, but we'll be sleeping outside. We expect them to go and bring their goods, wholesale it to us, and then we will sell it. But indeed, they don't do that. They are rather selling it with us. So we are all getting the same benefits as the Nigerian. I don't think this is done anywhere in the world. So the government to come to our aid, for we are suffering.
Some traders in Kaswa also shared their frustration with the influx of foreign traders.
Foreigners, no, I'm going to say it, you know, on our bar shops are warm. If you go last, and you make 30,000 for the shops. Who are one other foreigners? I'm going to go to 70,000. On my just not who shop owner, but bro letter said, what time crowns, you know, or you have to quit from the shop.
Simple information, almost a quite classy. Says a Pevenusun, a coin Mulacasano, lane about 5, says a beautiful alpha lane bed 3. Until I can't 2 lane pet.
Reporting for Citi News, I am Calvis Tete.
Now moving on, the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament has flagged the alleged payment of 2 million Ghana cedis to artist Shatta Wale by the Ghana Exim Bank. Now, a member of the committee, Ras Mubarak, indicated through a public interest question at the hearing that the amount had been paid to the artist for his role as an ambassador for the bank. But in response to the query, Deputy CEO of the bank, Kwame Edudakwa, said the firm had contracted a media consultancy outfit to deal with matters of such nature, but insisted that a check had not been issued from the bank directly to the artist. There is more in the following report.
Ghana Exim Bank was established to support the government's quest for a feasible and sustainable export-led economy. Officials of the bank appeared before the Public Accounts Committee to respond to queries captured in the 2017 Auditor General's report. MP for Kumbungu Ras Mubarak raised a public interest question alleging the payment of 2 million Ghana cedis to artist Shatta Wale for his role as a brand ambassador. Deputy CEO for the bank, Kwame Edudakwa, denied the allegations.
As it stands now, what we've done is from the corporate affairs perspective is to engage a media consultant to help us promote Made in Ghana. That's what we're doing. Now, the consultant, whether he's choosing music or football or rugby, that is a strategy that the consultant will be using. But in terms of Ghana Exim Bank, what we have done to promote our own Made in Ghana products,
which is brilliant. And in promoting Made in Ghana, you have very good artists, Nanam Pedu, Kojo Entry, Bakorex, you name them. In this instance, you gave money to Shatta Wale.
Honorable Chairman, no, not at all. As far as I'm concerned, it is a media campaign that we're running with a consultant. Thank you.
So the consultant hasn't given, or your institution, Ghana Exim, hasn't issued a check of 2 million Ghana cedis to Shatta Wale.
Wait, Isaac. Honorable Chairman, I can confirm that as Deputy CEO Finance of Exim Bank, I have not signed or have not seen a check signed for $2 million or 2 million cedis to any artist that you might have mentioned.
The chairman of the committee, James Klucha-Aveji, before discharging the Exim Bank team, indicated that officials will be recalled to provide details.
We'll work on that, and then we'll call you again to appear. If we have the details.
Still at the Public Accounts Committee hearing, the Minister of Transport, Kweko Foriesiam, after leading a number of agencies under his ministry to the committee, told the media that government is not threatened by the manifesto promise to legalize the operation of commercial motorcycle riders.
We, as a government, know that this is a matter that we need to take our time, consult the people, come out with the views, then it will determine the law that we need to put in place. Because laws are made to be changed because they are not static. If we think that at the end of the day, we need to amend certain law to take cognizance of the day or the time and do so. If we think that we need to implement what is there, it depends on the people that we consult, it depends on what you think that is at stake. You do it. So I would not want to be part of the people who are being say that President John Dramani Mahama has said this or this, and for that matter, come and tell us your position. I don't think that we are comparing. If the Mahama say A, they will come and say that we come and challenge him. No, we don't do things like that. But I think that the media should also, I'll plead with you to let some of these matters. The idea of somebody has said this, so come and say this, or somebody, I don't think that this is the way we should have some of these. I think that what is important, let's take decisions. Let's come out with programs and policies which will benefit the people of this country. And for me, that is the bottom line.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom right here on Citi TV. When we return, the West African Examination Council says adequate mechanisms have been put in place to reduce exam malpractice ahead of the 2020 BECE.
We'll bring you the details shortly. Do stay with us.
is impossible without time. Time is endless motion. Make time work for you. Bet Planet. Time to bet.
Hello, my brother. It's been a long while. Your house did build. I use the finest materials for this building. I can see that. Oh, my brother, you know, just last year you built this house. Oh, yeah. When the walls started to peel off like banana due to rising down. My brother, that's been my issue. I've tried so many things, but nothing works. You know what? They even use that black rubber thing only before the concrete casting. You mean that boiler rubber? Oh, my brother, you would have saved yourself the stress if only you used Visqueen DPM from Vertigio Limited. Really? That'd be what my puppy used for house. And over so many years, the house still they come up.
For purchases and enquiries, contact Ventigio Limited at Spinters Road, Accra, or in Kumasi at Oshumasi Kwarasu.
Visqueen DPM, no size.
Hello again. The flooding in Ghana's northeast region continues to wreak havoc to communities there at Kukwa in the Mamprugu Muaduri district, which is one of the hard-hit areas. Flood victims are still reeling from the effects of the disaster caused by days of heavy rains and the spillage of the Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso. NADMO officials are overwhelmed as they do not have enough relief items. This has left authorities there with no choice than to appeal for international support. Correspondent Maxwell Sook joined a team of government officials who toured affected areas and reports.
On Wednesday, a government delegation comprising NADMO officials, the Northeast Regional Coordinating Council, and parts of the security services visited Kukwa, where 2 farmers lost their lives. The flood victims were given bags of rice, cooking oil, utensils, mats, mattresses, plastics, materials, mosquito repellents, among others. Before presenting the items, the delegation paid a courtesy call on the chief of the community and visited a family of farmers who were drowned. For many of the flood victims, the items donated are inadequate. Mariam Dabo is one of them. Addressing the residents, the Northeast Regional Minister, Solomon Boar, appealed for support for the affected communities.
We have brought some relief items that we know is certainly highly inadequate to be able to sustain you for some number of weeks. So we want to use this opportunity to crave the indulgence of the international community, especially the organizations that have been involved in supporting the government almost every time that we find ourselves in this situation. I know of UNICEF, I know of USAID. In fact, the list is endless.
Access roads to the area have been cut off due to the floods. The Northeast Regional Director of NADMO says his outfit will only know the extent of damage when the flood waters recedes.
In the Mamprugu Maduri district here, we have about 14 communities which have their farmlands submerged in water. The 9 communities are cut off completely. The only place you can, the only means by which you can get there is to use the canoe. Then we lost 2 lives. We were part of the team that went and visited the bereaved family, and it occurred on the 4th of this month. Then when you go to West Mamprugu municipality, 12 communities are affected. They have their farmlands submerged in water. We lost 1 life at Janga. Then you go to East Mamprugu municipality. We have about 12 communities that have their farmlands submerged in water. places like Sapogu, Janga, Yaroyiri, Zambulga, and then Bangu, Namasim.
Now turning to education, the West African Examination Council says adequate mechanisms have been put in place to reduce exam malpractice ahead of the 2020 BCE. Now the assurance comes on the back of some infractions that marred the 2020 WASI. Now the BCE starts on Monday, September 14, 2020 and ends on Friday, September 18, 2020. Over 530,000 candidates in junior high schools nationwide are expected to take part. In this report by Citi News' Kojo, the West African Examination Council outlines some of the mechanisms to protect the integrity of the 2020 BCE.
The spotlight will be on the 2020 BCE because of the recent development during the 2020 WASI and the impact of COVID-19. Some persons circulated what appeared to be WASI papers on social media during the exercise. Some invigilators were also reportedly assaulted by students who were allegedly engaged in exam malpractice. Many are wondering how the West African Examinations Council will strictly ensure that there will be no leakage in the 2020 BCE. The head of National Office of the West African Examination Council, Wendy Adilamte, has been allaying the fears of the general public.
Test security is key, and we ensured that we produced the tests under very secured environment. Now, after that, during the packing, we introduced more security measures, and as we said, we have the police in place, we have the security also guarding, we have gadgets that before you enter the strong room will scan you before you enter.
Education think tank Africa Education Watch is demanding stricter mechanisms to guarantee the integrity of the exam.
It is important not to let the performance of WAEC at WASI level affect its output at the BEC level. And so we are expecting WAEC to do its best to ensure that the highest sense of diligence is eschewed as we approach BECE.
Highlighting the need for punitive laws to deter candidates from the act. The head of legal at WAEC, Reverend Victor Brew, said the exam body is embarking on legal reforms to address the challenge.
We have put in place a roadmap towards WAEC prosecuting its own cases so that we can give it that, should I say, added passion, in terms of ensuring that all corporates are prosecuted swiftly.
And this is where we part company. You've been watching the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Our website, citinewsroom.com, has more news updates.
Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Citi TV.
Download the Citi Newsroom app from the Google Play Store and keep updated on the go.
And you can also watch Citi TV on DSTV channel 3.